Assignment 1, Task 2, P2. Okay, following on from the last one, you need to create a poster describing the requirements of a safe, health and productive working environment. So you need to create a poster. This is an academic poster, so you'll need to have some description in it. But all you need to do is describe a safe, healthy and productive working environment. So, to do this, you can choose a working environment that you're familiar with. Oh, the college's logo has just appeared. I would suggest that's a really good way to go, and actually a good point to start with is to use the college. Use what's in front of you. Basically what we want to do is want you to use also pictures and photographs to illustrate measures and equipment that have been put in place to create a safe, healthy environment for staff and visitors. Think about the following factors. So basically what we want you to do is to basically get some pictures, any kind of photographs, have a look at what's around you, have a look at the measures that have been put in place, and basically describe what's going on. So basically look at what's already been put on within like the local environment. So what's actually happened within the college. Okay, what have they put in place to help you, make you feel safe? Now these are the factors that you need to consider, and what I've done is I've broken them down. I'm giving you like some basic examples of what you might want to look out for when you go and do a little audit. Okay, so the impact of the working environment. So any potential for falling objects, sharp edges, training leads. This is an example of an office which is badly organised. You could have used my desk a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately I have tidied it. So yeah, anything which is dangerous or trip hazards, falling objects, anything which is potentially dangerous. It could be as simple as a cable tie on the back of a PC, to be fair. That stops trip hazards from happening. It could also be the fact that it's a tidy workstation, simple stuff. Doesn't have to be really super complicated, but that's all it needs to be. Evacuation assembly areas. This is for fires or anything like that. Within the college, it's actually the back of the car park. But yeah, that is basically the assembly area. That's the point where people should go in terms of if there's a fire. An organic infestation is basically an infestation of any insects which exist. Okay, so any insects which actually exist within the organisation, or within, like, let's say the cooking areas. There's quite a few kitchens within the college. Vermin infestation, that's quite regular. It might be worth having a little look around the corners of the college, I would suggest. There might be some kind of controls. Dampness and mould. This is really happens to a lot of housing. A lot of people's, generally if a house isn't ventilated, it gets mould. It might be worth looking at the ventilation and things which have been put in place to stop that from occurring. So have a look at windows, have a look at anywhere where there could be ventilation passing through. That's to really stop damp and mould. It can cause issues like asthma, and it can really cause some quite serious problems for people in terms of health. It's worth having a research of that and having a look, so just Google it and you'll find out what the issues are. You can also look in the textbook as well on this. Materials, hazardous waste and disposal. There is a science site in the college, so it might be worth having a little look over that. That's an A block. It might also be worth looking at other areas. It might be worth speaking to some of the estate people about this, to see if there are any hazardous substances and how they get disposed of. Any hygiene facilities, washing and rest facilities, basically toilets, soap dispensers, things like that. Disabled access, that's not just including the toilet facilities, that's including ramps and lifts and things like that. It might be worth looking around and seeing what you can find out. Food preparation areas, as we said, there's quite a few kitchens, have a look. Noise and atmospheric pollution, it might be worth looking at things like studio theatre or anywhere which might be slightly noisy, see what they've got in terms of noise pollution. Atmosphere, obviously the college doesn't produce that much in terms of ways of actual physical emissions, so I don't know how relevant that is, so you might want to steer away from that. But noise can be an issue within the college. Temperature and ventilation. There are certain standards. It's worth looking in the textbook because that will actually tell you what those standards are, and at certain times of the year. I've never heard of anyone being sent home for it, unfortunately, but there are issues with temperature and ventilation, especially in terms of linking back to talking about mould and things like that. A cold environment will usually create mould. Any kind of equipment or safety guards, there is, although you probably won't be able to visit it. On site there is a construction area where all the students have to wear safety goggles and things like that, and equally they'll have dangerous equipment which will have like physical guards, as in like wire mesh fences, to stop people's hands from getting, hurt. So it does exist within the college. Warning signs and sound signals. The college does actually have a fire system, an evacuation system. I can tell you what it is. It's a continuous sign. It means everyone needs to evacuate. If it pulses, so basically if it's intermittent, that means you have to prepare to evacuate. So that's one of them. Equally, there's warning signs all around the college. It's worth having a look at what those warning signs are and what role they play. Just to explain what role they play as well. In terms of maintenance frequency, you're looking at things like toilets, you might be looking at equipment, also fire alarms. It's worth having a research. Have a look in the textbook as well. Any protective clothing needs to be put on. That could be certain sectors, to be fair, so maybe like steel toe cap boots if you're working in construction to protect your feet. That can be quite serious. A lot of the maintenance guys wear them as well. Accessible emergency exits. Have a look at where those emergency exits are and see where they are around the college. There's quite a few of them. Any fire extinguishers or sprinkler systems as well. Okay, so you've got all the factors, you just need to put them up into a poster, go and research it, and that's all you have to do. What I'd also suggest you have a quick look at would be the textbook, which again is on Moodle, so just make sure you use that. Otherwise, you will cause yourself quite a few problems. I'll make sure you can get access to that and all the page numbers of that you need.